Welcome to the Legacy Podcast. My name is Olisya Grant, co-founder of Matrix Legacy, Inc. We are back for episode number 24. This is the show where we create a blueprint for success, we look for ways to create generational wealth, and we break those chains of a poverty mindset. If you are brand new, welcome. If you have been with me all of this time, here we go, another episode, and I'm super excited to be here with you. If you have been enjoying the content, go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or any of those platforms. We are here every single weekend with a brand new episode, a brand new building block. So if you are enjoying, find a friend and bring them along for the journey. This is going to be a very good one, and I'm excited about it because I don't hear enough conversations around it. So when it comes to building wealth, a lot of the things that we talk about are around budgeting and around investing and around, tracking our dollars, growing our business, things like that. But nobody really ever speaks about the emotion behind it. And that is literally the fuel behind the financial resources that we're able to gain. Your income is in direct relation to your knowledge base, so you can't make any more money than you know how to make. And the way that we feel about money, the way that we feel about ourselves and our worth, things like that are in direct relation to how much we're able to attract and create. So a lot of us know the right things to do. We're given good advice, but then we filter it through our emotions and we take it for what it feels like and not what the actual advice was or not what the actual idea was. We put our feelings all around it, mix it up and create something that really is unnecessary, shouldn't exist, or might be harmful in the long run. And so today what I really want to speak on and address is the specific emotions around money. How do we manage those so that we can create more abundance, more wealth in our lives instead of having our emotions block all of the blessings that are being sent our way? So one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever been given is you need to care more about your future than your feelings. So what that means is, yes, it might feel uncomfortable to make that phone call. It might be uncomfortable to start that business or go into that networking event where you don't know anybody or do that presentation or whatever the heck it is. You've got to get over that feeling and think more so about your future. Where is it that you're trying to go? What is it you're trying to build? What is the legacy? What is the point? And once you tap into that, you'll be able to power through anything. Who cares if it's hard? Who cares if it's a challenge? You will run right into it because you care more about your future than your feelings. So the thing about personal finance is that it's personal. So when I say care more about your future than your feelings is tough because every decision that we make about our money, about creating wealth, about where we're allocating our resources is personal. And so we take it personal. But the problem with that is a lot of times we lose logic. And so it's a commonly known fact that when it comes to childbirth, weddings, funerals, all of our logic goes out the window because those are three of the most emotional times in our lives. I know this because we had a very specific budget for the wedding. My husband and I got married last summer, and we had a very specific budget, and somehow I kept rationalizing why we needed to spend that extra $500, why we needed to have this specific decoration even though it was $50 more, why we needed to get this exact cut of salmon and this little things that actually don't matter at all. But somehow our emotions allow us to create this story, create this need for things that aren't necessary because our emotions are wrapped up all over what it is that we're doing. Logic is out the door. And that is what gets a lot of us into a lot of financial problems because in that moment, we will rationalize absolutely anything. Oh, you said I can get gold trim on the crib for my brand new baby? Okay, let's throw it in. Doesn't matter how much that costs. Oh, you said that this venue is nicer and has a better space for reception for the passing of my loved one. Yeah, let's do that. Even though I can't afford it, let's make it happen. But the problem is once that emotion is gone, you are still sitting there with that debt. And so this is another reason why you've got to care more about your future than your feelings, because a lot of times that one moment in time is not worth the lifelong struggle of trying to clean up the mess that we made while we were in the heat of the moment, right in the middle of our feelings. So what we really have to realize is that money is a tool. It is a tool to get the things that we want, whether it be purchasing back our time, whether it be investing or building, creating our legacy, generational wealth, whatever it is. Money is a tool, and mastering your emotions is going to be equivalent to you being able to master your money. So one of the main emotions that come up around when we're talking about finances is fear and anxiety. A lot of the anxiety around money comes from us focusing on the wrong things. So a lot of times, let's say we're in debt. Let's say you got student loan debt, or you just had a wedding and you're in debt because of that, or you made a couple silly mistakes and you ended up in some credit card debt. There is so much anxiety on that, and focusing on the debt, focusing on what we don't have, and that scramble to make that minimum payment every single month, and not enough focus on how do I create more? What do I currently have? I'm so grateful that I have a job. I'm so grateful that I have the skill that I can get paid for. I'm so grateful that I'm in a position where if I'm resourceful enough, I can create more money. But we block off that chance for our brain to start coming up with solutions for us because we are so focused on the problem. So the problem is that we have debt. Great. Problem identified. But focusing on that and stressing out about it, that's going to bring on health problems, and that's not going to fix the issue. Focusing on the debt that I already know I have is not going to fix it. However, the solution might mean that I need to pick up a side hustle. That might mean I need to pick up some extra hours at work. That might mean there might be something around my house that I could sell in order to make another payment on that debt. And so then your brain starts looking for ways to create more resources instead of focusing on what's missing. So gratitude is a big piece of that, and gratitude will help defeat that anxiety, that fear, and that emotion around being able to take care of that debt. So really focusing on how can I get past this, putting ourselves into action. They say action cures doubt. So action is the cure for doubt. So if you are in a space of doubt, anxiety, fear, what you got to do is you got to take action and say, how can I get past this? What is something I can do right now to take me out of this state and move me towards the solution? Another emotion that surrounds money is that regret, that embarrassment, or even anger around money when we look back at the things that we might have done in the past and we know better now, and so we're wishing that we could take back something that happened, that purchase that we made, that car that we bought that was way out of our budget, taking out hundreds and thousands of dollars in student loan debt for a degree that we're not even using, for unnecessarily expensive rent that we paid for just to live in that popular spot of town. It's very easy for us to look back and have so much regret and anger against decisions that we made in the past. The thing about the past is there is nothing we could do about it. So harping on it and jumping all over yourself for something that you didn't know at the time is not going to help, again, get to that solution. And so I have many regrets. All the way through university, I had money just sitting down in a savings account because I had not been educated on how to invest. And so now that I understand investing, I'm looking back at that giant stack of money that I was just piling up in order to pay off my student debt, realizing all of that time I could have just had my money working for me. I would have had so much more if I was educated at that time on how to properly invest. But here's the thing, there was nothing I can do about that. The past is just that, in the past. And so all I can do is just take the lesson that I learned and hope that somebody can learn from the mistakes that I made so they don't have to do the same thing on their journey. And so I can learn from my own mistakes, so going forward, I never do that again. And so really focusing on the lesson instead of focusing on the loss or the error, and being able to forgive yourself for making mistakes, because that's what we do as people, that is going to help you get so far ahead in your money management journey, because until you forgive yourself, you cannot move forward. Until you come to some kind of understanding that, hey, who I was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even 12 months ago is not who I am today. And I can take a lesson from the errors that I made before to take with me going forward. That is how we make progress. And then this last one, this is a major one that a lot of us only talk about behind closed doors, and that's jealousy. That's the comparison that we make to the people who we see on social media, or to our friends who are finding success in different areas of their lives, or to that family member who seems like they've got it all together. We all get that feeling of jealousy or envy, like, how come that's not me? What are they doing so differently than what I'm doing? Why can't I have what they have? And we have to remember that we have to run our own race. Things are going to happen for us when they're supposed to happen for us. We just have to continue to do the right things for ourselves, for our lives, for our legacy, and stop comparing to what other people have going on. We don't actually know the backstory of that person who's living in that big mansion. I don't know if maybe they inherited that money. I don't know if maybe they worked 6, 7, 8 jobs trying to figure out how they could afford their dream house. I don't know what their backstory is, and frankly, it doesn't matter because I can't live their life. So regardless of how they were able to obtain their wealth or what lifestyle they're living, that has nothing to do with what I've got going on. So me wasting energy being jealous or envious about what other people are doing, that's not helpful. If I want to inquire and I want to learn, then I should be able to flip that and say, that is so inspiring. I want that lifestyle, and I want to know what it is that that person did. What was the mindset? What was the journey? What was the story? So I can kind of recreate, not copy or whatever, because somebody's not going to, there's no two paths that are the same. However, what we can do is we can learn from the mistakes that others have made. We can be inspired by their journey and use that as fuel and energy for our own. But wasting time being jealous, comparing, wishing we were in a different position, that's almost going to take you in reverse. That is not how you master your money. And so again, going back to gratitude and being grateful for the space that you're in, and being grateful that you can even witness other people who are creating success and you have access to those people. Starting with gratitude is how you are going to build wealth in every aspect of your life. Now, wealth and the money in your bank account only show up after you become a person of value. And a person of value is somebody who's able to manage their emotions, able to stand in a place of gratitude, able to learn from their mistakes, and able to create meaningful relationships with people who are going to feed into your vision, into your knowledge, into who you are. The people around you, the environment that you create for yourself, is what's truly going to help set you up for success. If you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who are very skeptical about everything, think that everything is a scam, and this is something I learned the other day too. Scam means still confused about money, because a lot of times we're too afraid to take on an opportunity, or we think it's too good to be true because we've never seen it done. That's our emotions and our ego getting in the way and saying there is no way that person could be successful unless they were involved in a scam. And especially in 2020, with all the technology we have, all of the systems that we have, if you are a person who is constantly a skeptic and you think every single thing is a scam, that means you are still confused about money, and that means your emotions are making the decisions for you. We've got to remove those two things from each other and use logic to determine if this is an opportunity that we should take on. Use logic to figure out if we should be spending this amount of money on a certain idea or a certain event, whatever that looks like. Mastering your emotions will make sure that you're able to master your money. So that's essentially the building block of the day. And I'll just go back to that exact quote we used in the beginning. You have to care more about your future than your feelings. Care more about your future than the fear, than the jealousy, than the regret that comes up. You got to care more about where you're going than where you've been. So I truly hope this helps somebody. I really enjoyed this episode because emotions is such a taboo thing. Nobody wants to talk about it, but everything that we do in life is really an emotion. Our emotions are wrapped up around it, and if it's not, then something might be a little wrong. So it's not to say shut off your emotions, but it's really just manage them and take things for what they are and not what they feel like. I know I say that a lot, and that's me talking to myself, talking to you, is really we have to take things exactly for what it is. Take the advice for what it is. Don't filter it through what we want it to, or what we think it feels like. And so if this did help you, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, send this to a friend. If you're looking for more content like this, or if you want to be the first one updated whenever a new podcast is coming out, you can download the Matrix Legacy app. I will be here next week with another building block for success. Until next time, let's build a legacy.